Hello everyone. Welcome back to English Paper. I'm your host, Alex. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends who are learning English. Today, we're going to enjoy one of the world's most famous stories, Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Listen carefully, repeat after me, and practice your English speaking skills through shadowing. Now, let's begin. Long ago, in a busy town, there lived two brothers named Alibaba and Kasim. Although they were brothers, their lives were very different. Kasim was rich because he had married into a wealthy family. He lived in a large house, wore expensive clothes, and owned many servants. Alibaba, on the other hand, was poor. He earned his living by cutting firewood in the forest and selling it in the marketplace. Even though he had little money, Alibaba was kind, honest, and always grateful for what he had. Every morning, Alibaba took his 3 donkeys into the forest. He carefully chopped dry branches, tied the wood into large bundles, and loaded them onto his animals. The work was difficult and tiring, but he never complained. He believed that hard work and honesty were better than greed and dishonesty. Although life was not easy, he always returned home with a smile. One hot afternoon, while gathering firewood, Alibaba suddenly heard the sound of horses galloping toward him. The ground shook beneath his feet, and a cloud of dust rose into the air. Feeling frightened, he quickly climbed a tall tree and hid among its thick branches. From there, he watched everything in complete silence. Soon, 40 men on powerful horses stopped in front of a huge rock. They were not ordinary travelers. They were fierce thieves, carrying swords, bags of gold, and valuable treasures they had stolen from many places. Their leader stepped forward confidently and shouted in a loud voice, "Open sesame!" To Alibaba's amazement, the enormous rock slowly moved aside. A secret doorway appeared, revealing a hidden cave filled with treasure beyond imagination. The thieves entered one by one, carrying their heavy bags inside. After some time, they came out again. The leader looked at the entrance and commanded, "Close, sesame!" Instantly, the rock slid back into its original place, hiding the cave completely. Alibaba stayed hidden until the thieves disappeared into the distance. His heart was beating fast with excitement and curiosity. When he was sure the area was safe, he climbed down from the tree and walked carefully toward the mysterious rock. Taking a deep breath, he spoke the magical words, "Open sesame!" The giant rock slowly opened just as it had for the thieves. Alibaba stepped inside and could hardly believe his eyes. Everywhere he looked, there were mountains of gold coins, sparkling diamonds, shining jewels, silver cups, colorful carpets, and beautiful treasures from distant lands. It looked like the greatest treasure anyone had ever seen. Although Alibaba was amazed, he remained wise. He did not become greedy. Instead of taking everything, he filled only a few small bags with gold coins, just enough to help his family live a better life. Then he left the cave, remembered to say, "Close, sesame," and returned home before sunset. When Alibaba arrived home, his wife was shocked to see so many gold coins. At first, she thought her husband had stolen them. Alibaba smiled gently and told her the entire story about the hidden cave and the magical words. She listened with wide eyes, unable to believe such an incredible adventure had happened to her husband. The couple wanted to count the coins, but there were far too many. So Ali Baba's wife borrowed a measuring container from Qasim's wife. However, Qasim's wife was suspicious. Before lending it, she secretly placed a little wax under the container. When it was returned, one gold coin was stuck to the wax. She immediately realized that Ali Baba had somehow become rich. When Qasim saw the gold coin, he became jealous. He angrily demanded that Ali Baba reveal the secret. At first, Ali Baba refused because he knew the secret was dangerous, but Qasim threatened him again and again until Ali Baba finally told him about the cave and the magical words. The very next morning, Qasim rushed to the forest with several large donkeys and many empty sacks. Unlike Ali Baba, he was thinking only about becoming richer than everyone else. He reached the rock and shouted confidently, "Open sesame!" The entrance opened, and he hurried inside with a huge smile. Qasim was overwhelmed by the enormous treasure. He filled every sack with gold, jewels, and precious objects. The more he collected, the greedier he became. He forgot about time and continued gathering treasure until his donkeys could carry no more. Finally, Qasim decided to leave. He walked to the entrance and tried to remember the magical words, but panic filled his mind. Instead of saying, "Open sesame," he shouted, "Open wheat." Nothing happened. Then he cried, "Open barley! Open rice! Open corn!" The rock did not move. He had forgotten the correct words. As Qasim desperately searched for a way out, the 40 thieves returned. They were shocked to find a stranger inside their secret cave. The leader immediately realized someone had discovered their hiding place. Qasim begged for mercy, but the thieves showed none. His greed had led him into terrible danger. When Qasim failed to return home, his family became worried. Ali Baba guessed what had happened. He bravely returned to the cave, spoke the magical words, and entered carefully. There he discovered the tragic fate of his brother. Although Qasim had treated him badly, Ali Baba felt deep sadness. Family was still family. Ali Baba respectfully brought his brother home and arranged a proper funeral. He kept the secret of the cave hidden, hoping no one else would ever discover it. But the leader of the thieves realized someone had escaped. He became determined to find the person who knew the secret. The clever thief searched the town until he discovered Ali Baba's house. He secretly marked the front door so the thieves could return at night. However, Ali Baba's intelligent servant, Morgiana, noticed the strange mark. She quickly marked every house on the street with the same symbol. When the thieves arrived later, they became confused because every door looked exactly alike. The leader tried again the next day with a different mark. Once again, Morgiana noticed it and copied the mark onto every nearby house. The thieves were completely fooled for a second time. Their leader grew furious because his careful plans kept failing. Finally, the leader invented a dangerous new plan. He disguised himself as a merchant and filled many large oil jars. Most of the jars secretly hid thieves inside them, waiting for nightfall. He asked Ali Baba if he could stay at his house for the evening, pretending to be a friendly traveler. Morgiana became suspicious when she heard strange whispers coming from the oil jars. She quietly investigated and discovered the hidden thieves. Thinking quickly, she found a clever way to stop their attack before it even began. Her bravery and intelligence saved Ali Baba, his family, and everyone in the house. When the leader realized his plan had failed, he tried one final time to take revenge, but Morgiana recognized him immediately. Thanks to her courage and quick thinking, the dangerous leader was finally defeated and the town became safe once again. Alibaba never forgot the lessons he had learned. He used his wealth wisely, helped people in need, and lived with kindness instead of greed. Morgiana's wisdom and loyalty were rewarded, and she became one of the most respected people in the family. Their story became famous because it teaches that honesty, intelligence, and courage are far more valuable than gold. And that brings us to the end of today's story. What lesson did you learn from Alibaba and the 40 Thieves? Share your answer in the comments below. Now go back to the beginning of the story, listen again, and repeat each paragraph out loud. Shadowing is one of the fastest ways to improve your English pronunciation, fluency, and confidence. Thank you so much for listening to English Paper. I'm Alex, and I'll see you in the next podcast. Until then, keep learning, keep practicing, and remember, every sentence you speak brings you one step closer to fluency. Goodbye.